I'm very pleased to have you on the show. You were recommended to me by Jungian analyst Monica Wickman, who's been a frequent guest on the show, and you yourself have been a Jungian analyst for some 40 years or more, plus your work has been informed by your studies and work with elders in the Navajo Nation for 45 years. These experiences have given you a unique perspective on what's happening at a deeper level in the world today. So part of the title of today's interview refers to the archetypal roots in the evolution of consciousness. I think that implies a lot. So maybe we should start with the small task of defining what you mean by archetype.
What I mean and what I think Jung meant was objective psychic forms, I guess is the way perhaps to frame it, that exist in the human psyche. So some simple examples of that would be mother or father or friend or hero. Those characteristics, those archetypal forms have similar characteristics across cultures and different groups. They're psychic constructs is one way of looking at them. And
so I think of it as a readiness to respond to certain kinds of images or contents. They're not content specific, right?
Content specific, that carries a certain objectivity. What I would say is that they're form specific, they're psychic specific.
Right.
So let me give an example that may help. When I was a candidate training to become a Jungian analyst, we had a course on Greek mythology, since the Greeks are very fundamental to historically to Western culture. And in one class, we were reviewing the myth of Theseus, and who was a Greek hero, and I was totally unfamiliar with him. And as I was reading the characteristics of his story, it was feeling more and more familiar. And the more I read, the more familiar it seemed. And to make a long story short, pursuing that, what I discovered was that I knew this myth because it was the same, not similar, the same as the hero myth of one of the Navajo hero twins in their origin story.
Wow.
And when I realized that, I thought that can't be. How can there be a connection between Navajo and ancient Greece? And so I went and got paper and drew a line down and started putting characteristics of the Navajo figure and Theseus. They were identical except for one factor, and that was that the Navajo hero was one of a twin. He had a twin brother. And I thought, well, that's a major distinction. I wonder what that's about. So I back into the literature on Theseus, and darn if I didn't find a version of the myth where he had a twin brother.
Wow, interesting.
So there you have an archetypal image or form dressed in different cultural clothes,
okay,
so to speak.
Yeah.